All right. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am back today with another video. This time discussing more. This is going to be part 2 of my quote-unquote How to Be a Ninja series. Maybe a cheesy name, but whatever. We need to have a name for something. It's very fitting. We're stealthy. We're agile. We're tough to deal with in a one-on-one situation because of how many different tools we have in our arsenal defensively. And so even when you can hit us, we're tanky, but if we play well, we can avoid a bunch of damage. And it's just, if played well, this is a very frustrating style of play to play against. So this video is once again going to highlight the build video on my YouTube stream, YouTube channel, just showing you how I use this build, how I play this build, so you get a little bit more of an idea for, if you want to invest the time into farming Amber Plasm, if you want to run this type of setup, because, this is a very fun play style. It's not as common right now, so if you want to play something a little bit more unique and you want something that's very effective, I think this is it, and, here to give you more information to see if you actually like it. This first clip is just going to highlight the damage. We ran across this Stamina Nightblade group of gankers. They kept trying to gank us on different flags. We're just going to the next flag, and we're killing these ads, and you can see right here, all of a sudden when I turn, you can see the mage light. So we know that there's a ganker right here. We know that somebody's going to get hit hard. It's probably going to be me. I'm in light armor. I have 22k health. Gankers give this build a lot of issues. So if you're not running Piercing Mark, which is a skill that a Nightblade has that pulls people out of stealth, you want to run Detect Pots. I have Detect Pots on all of my characters. There's just too many gankers out there. There's too many Nightblades that can avoid damage with stealth. And so what we want to do is we want to make sure that when we get our combo off, they're not cloaking and dodging our Merciless. They're not cloaking and dodging our, dodging our Swallow Soul combos. Cloak plus dodge roll is a really big issue for us to proc our Merciless, which is sometimes what we need to kill some of these Stamina Nightblades. So Detect Pots are almost a must. So we're going to, just pop our Detect Pot. We see him here buffing up. We're going to hit him with Entropy, and we're just going to drop a Meteor on him. When you want to make sure you hit Entropy on your buff combo. So if you have a Merciless, Entropy Merciless, if you can, Entropy Meteor, because that's going to give you Empower. You're going to hit 20% harder. So this guy's wearing Divines. He's got low health. He's a gank spec. He's going to take a bunch of damage. I just wanted to take him out quickly. I have my Meteor. So drop the Meteor, fear him. You get a 2-second window with Meteor. And as you saw, he has like 18.8k health. We hit him with an 18.5k Meteor. Just kind of wanted to highlight like how much damage we actually have with this setup. We only have about 37,000 magic, but with the spell damage, with Julianos, with the crit, with the Shadow Mundus, we hit very hard. 18.5k Meteor on an all Divine spec. We hit 16, 17k Meteors on light armor builds. We'll hit 9 to 12k on heavy armor builds. So this hits very hard. We're a vampire. We're a Dark Elf, and we're using Shooting Star, which is fire damage. So it all adds up to be very, very bursty. If they don't block the Meteor, if people don't block the Meteor with this setup, they're basically in either half their health's gone and they're reeling, or they're in Execute. And we have Impale, which is a very strong Execute that hits hard. So very bursty setup, which is how you need to play Magic and Nightblade. This next clip is a one-on-one against an Emperor. Now, this clip isn't meant to, talk shit about somebody losing in a 1v1, especially as Emperor. This Emperor is running Destro ult, Destro staff on the back bar with dual wield on the front bar. He has no ability to heal himself outside of Swallow Soul, Sap, and Refreshing Path, which is another skill that Nightblades have. It's an okay skill. It's a good skill, but not everybody with his type of build is running it. His build is set up to wipe tons and tons of people. But you kind of need a healer with it since you don't have a heal. So knowing that and knowing what his spec is, all we need to do with our setup is be able to survive his burst combo. If we can survive his burst combo, which is Destro ulti, we can kill him because he can't keep himself healed up to full. So we just need to be careful. We need to keep our wards up. We have high recovery, so that shouldn't be an issue. And eventually we're just going to whittle him down. But that's not what this clip's for. This clip I wanted to highlight how effective what we're running is against even like the most high damage burst combo in the game. So my buddy died. He said he got killed by Emperor. Emperor was by himself. I came over, wanted to get a little one-on-one against Emperor. He's right here. We're going to hit him with a cripple, gives us movement speed, snares him in place. We're going to buff up with our Merciless. We're going to drop our Shadow Image down. Now what our Shadow Image does, it allows us to get back to it. It also gives us minor maim. So this is Emperor. He's hitting really freaking hard. And so minor maim gives him a 15% damage reduction. We're in light armor. It just helps to have. So he's got Proxy, he's got Sap, he has Grothar, and it's all hitting us very hard, so we need a ward up here. So we're going to hit him with Cripple again. And our entire thought process on this fight is because we know what build he's running. We know he's running Lotus Fan, we know he's running Sap, we know he has Grothar, we know he has Proxy, and we know he has Destro ult. So most of his damage comes from close quarters melee combat. And we're a ranged build. We can play up close like this against people, but where we also excel is playing at range. So what we want to do is we want to get our Shadow Image down. We want to cripple him and snare him in place, and we want to get far enough away to where we can hit him with our Destro Staff and our Swallow's Soul and get our Merciless up, and to where he can't gap close to us and do a bunch of damage. So this fight's going to be more about like trying to, against a guy like this, you want to kite a little bit more. You want to try and kite a little bit more. You want to use your Shadow Image to dance around and avoid some damage. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to drop our Shadow Image, we're going to Fear, and then we're just getting away since we crippled him. Now, as soon as we turn around, we're trying to entropy. We're trying to hit him with another cripple here, so he stays at that distance since we hit him just a little bit ago. If we hit him with this and we just take a couple steps back, he now can't gap close to us. But if you've been playing the game the last 2 months, you know what this big red circle is. You see the Proxy. You know it's coming. You don't have much time to react to this. You're in 5 light. You're a vampire. When we see this big red scary circle, we're going to pop our Resto ult. Now, I'm going to play the rest of this clip all the way through and just talk about it as it happens, but he fears us right here. We take the full damage of his Proxy. His Proxy hits us for 6,400, but with a ward, with Resto ult, for as bad as Resto ult is, or for as bad as Destro ult is, for overpowered as it is, how it goes through block and everything, Resto ult for one person is just as overpowered. He kills my buddy there. I was trying to get the one-on-one. It was just a revive. We hit him with a 10k cripple. That's the end of the fight. Not a big deal, but that clip's there to show how strong Resto ult is. So he came in with a full Emperor Burst combo. Did it very well. I mean, you saw even, as I said, his proximity detonation hit us for 6,400. And he's hitting us with Sap. Grothar goes off. One ward and Resto ult keeps us healed to full, so we don't have to worry about his combination. So even against the highest burst damage combination in the game right now, Resto ult keeps us alive. Very useful skill. That's why it's on our bar. These next 2 clips are just going to be no CP clips. Kind of want to highlight this setup's versatility. All we have to do is take off Shadow Image, and then we put on Siphoning Attacks. And with Siphoning Attacks the way it currently is, it gives us more than enough sustain to fight people. So this first fight, he's low CP, but it's a no CP campaign, so it doesn't really matter. We're equals here. We hit him with a cripple. We hit him with a Swallow Soul combo, Fear, Impale. He's dead. So now we're taking the flag. Buffing up with our Siphoning. And we're running Destro ulti here. Not sure how many people are in the sewers. It was all yellow. So since we're running solo, we want try and maximize our stones. If there's a group running around here with stones, we want to try and take them from. So just heading over here and see a couple reds, cloak up, buff up, and just trying to figure out who's who. They all hop on a chest, so now what we're going to do is we're going to pop our Destro ulti, we're going to fear, and we're going to hope to try and take one of them out to get a 3-on-1. But as you can see, we didn't do the scouting report, and 3 of them are Magicka Templars, and they're all spamming Breath of Life. So our complete and utter burst, our complete burst combo was completely useless because 3 guys spam Breath of Life, and they all stayed up. But because it's no CP and they don't have infinite sustain, we really did, even though we didn't kill anybody, we really did a number on their Magicka. Yeah, so we're in a 4-on-1. Now what we need to do, we're getting hit with Soul Assault, we're getting hit by 3 people, we have a Sorc card casting frags. We're just going to try and ward up, and we're just essentially going to stay alive right here. We're just warding, and now we're going to line of sight. We want to avoid some damage here since we had to ward so much. Our magic is low. We're doing full heavy attacks, and some people aren't CC breaking, so we just take that guy out really quick. We feared him, he didn't CC break, he's now target number 1, he's dead. Now we have somebody dead, we have a 3-on-1 situation. We do not have a ranged interrupt, so what we're going to do is we're going to camp this body, make sure that there's no revives so we can take out the other 3 guys. We have 2 Templars that can heal, and we have a Magicka Sorc. So again, they're low CP, that means they're just not experienced players, but we're all more or less equals here in no CP, so yeah, so that's kind of the gist there. We're going to hit him with a cripple. We're going to fear here just to keep them off. Like, we're going to use our fear and we're going to use our bash. Since we're running Amber Plasm, we can bash quite a bit more. We need to be careful with our bashes since it is no CP, since there is no reduced cost. Got to be really careful with our stamina. But with our CC, with bash, we can kind of prevent them from reviving. So he's there, we bash that guy. This next guy's going to try and revive, and we're going to fear. And we're just kind of trying to keep these guys off. We're just peppering them a little bit, seeing who's taking damage. Now, where these guys make the mistake is they weren't purifying enough. And because of that, because they weren't purifying, they were eating a lot of my dots, they were eating my entropy, they were eating my cripple, and they had to spam Breath of Life a lot more. And so they're jabbing, I'm warding, just fearing, and peppering them and see who runs out of resources first. So this guy's almost dead. We go with the Impale. He doesn't die, but now we fear him again. He's taking our cripple damage, and now with our Swallow Soul Impale combos, we're going to take him out right there. This guy dodge rolls and CC breaks, so we know the next time we fear, he's basically dead. He's not purifying, so he's eating a lot of damage that he shouldn't be eating. We hit him with a 7k Impale. The fight's over. The Sorc ran away. So the 4-on-1 was a 3-on-1. Not a huge deal, but you can kind of see the sustain in no CP is still very good, even in an outnumbered fight. This build is very fun in no CP due to the amount of damage and sustain that we actually have. In an outnumbered situation, if you can stay alive, you can just kind of wear people down just like that. You know, they ran out of resources way before we did, and we were doing a number to their stamina and Magicka. This is another no CP clip. I want to highlight just this fight a little bit more. Now, we're in no CP. Ads are a bitch already in CP. In no CP, they're just rough. You're going to get hit with this bubble. I'm now in a negate right now. You see the negate bubble around me. I can't use magic. It's just brutal on a Magicka class to deal with these ads because they have no chill on CC immunity. You can get knocked down, you get bubbled, and in no CP, our stamina is a lot rougher than it normally is. So that's why we're using siphoning attacks. That's why we have Amber Plasm. But in a 3-on-1 on a flag with ads, it's not going to work out very well. Imperial City is a lot rougher to deal with ads, to deal with bosses and everything, because everything's just hitting so much harder and your character isn't as strong as it is in CP. So we back up because we want to try and use our damage ultimate in a narrow corridor to take somebody out. They're not really taking the bait. They're also taking the flag. We don't want to get them ads. So since they killed those ads, it's now a 3-on-1 against us. We have our Destro ulti. We're going to go in there. Again, we're going to fear. We're going to try and take somebody out. So we go in with the cripple, get our immobilization snare, try and get them all grouped up, snare them again, fear, and now we're just going to town on single target trying to take out somebody that didn't CC break. Now, this is a bad spot for us. There are two builds that are really going to give Magicka Nightblade Destro staff users trouble. One's a Magicka DK, especially if you're a vampire. They're doing fire damage. And if they have wings, they basically reflect everything. They can reflect cripple. They can reflect your Destro attacks. It's not fun to deal with, and we're not a Sork. We're not running streak. We're not able to get away from the snares as easily. How we get away from the snares is we shadow image, dodge roll, get away from it, and then shadow image back. We're not running shadow image in this clip. We're running siphoning attacks for the sustain. So what we're going to do instead, since we didn't see wings, is we're going to get out of the talons. We're going to pop a tripod so we get back to full stamina, and we're going to use cripple to keep him away from us. Magicka DKs don't normally run a gap closer currently, and so because we know that, and if we can get a cripple off on him, we're going to snare him in place just the way he snares us in place. So we're kind of turning the tide against him, and we're going to try and take out the Sork. The Sork's wearing light armor. He's going to be the harder one to kill. He's probably hitting harder, even though we can kite the DK with just movement speed. That's not as big of a deal at all. We fear to keep him off of us. The Sork made the mistake there in no CP to where he dodge rolled. I'm going to back up just a little bit, but we're doing damage. He's warding up. We crippled him, and this is a big mistake that Sorks make against. A lot of Sorks make against DKs and Magicka Nightblades. You hit them with cripple, the Sorks that are inexperienced, they see the cripple, they kind of panic. He wasn't sure what to do. In that spot, you just put your wards on. You're a Sork, you have 3 wards, rely on your wards. Instead, he dodge rolled. And because he dodge rolled, he drained a bunch of his stamina. And for whatever reason, mid dodge roll, I feared him. So the fear's still connected there, which I thought he was far enough away, but I guess not. That drained all of his stamina. So now he can't break fear. We hit him with an 11k impale. He's dead. So now we're in a one-on-one against the DK. He's going to eat all of our dots, and we're just going to go to town, basically hitting him with our combos and keeping our dots on him. We hit him with a Merciless there. We hit him with an impale. Fight's over. Yeah. Last fight is back in CP. We're going to take off our siphoning attacks. We're going to put our shadow image on. And these guys we were fighting for a little bit. We had killed a few of them. We were trying to kill this guy because he has stones, and we're always after stones. 2-on-3 or a 2-on-4, something like that. Fighting for a little bit. Killed them, but this was a red district, and they kept spawning back. We're in a spot to where this wasn't the best spot for us to choose our fight, because even if we kill them, they're going to spawn right there, they're going to come right back, and they come back with full resources. We're getting sniped here, so we're going to ward up. What we need to do is we needed to take the flag, and if we kill them on the flag, they have to respawn all the way over here, they have to run over, we get a little break. Because we fought here, they kept coming back, and it's just a huge drain on resources. So we're going to buff up here, get behind the tree, go after the sniper. We see another guy here. We fear him. He's the easier target since he's not going to have 6,000 more Magicka stamina and health. Go back over here to help my buddy out. In a 1-2vx situation, you want to really focus one target. That guy left, so now we're on this guy. I feared him. My buddy drops the meteor. He's now dead. So in that spot, my buddy got CC'd. He got hit with a Dawnbreaker. He's at low health now. And now you have a guy with Imperial Physique as a Stam Sork with Hurricane up. Hurricane got nerfed, but it still hits pretty hard. It pulls his Nightblades out of stealth. My buddy's at low health. He can stack wards, but we'd been fighting for a while. I decided to just save him some Magicka. I popped my Resto ulti. And what that means now is he's got the Resto ult. He can't really die for the next next 5 seconds, he can go back to doing damage and free casting on these two people because of that reason. So now we're just trying to take out the Sork. This guy gap closed on us. We're just peppering them both, CCing them both. We see one drop down, so the 2-on-3 is back. And now we see a 2-on-4. See my Magicka where it's at? I told my buddy, they're just going to keep coming back. This is a losing situation if we keep fighting here. So what we need to do is we need to back up. We need to get out of this fight and get a little bit of distance so that they're not spawning on top of us as we're trying to wipe their entire group. So I told them to back up. Now I'm just hitting people with cripples to snare them a little bit so we can get the distance, so we can get away. We don't have high movement speed without cripple, and it's doubly effective because it snares them and it gives us movement speed. So we're just snaring. This guy's gap closing. I'm giving my buddy wards, so I'm running out of magic, and now they're focused on me. I had to dodge roll. I come over here. I pop my rest ulti to stay alive, and now you can see the rest ulti again just being really freaking strong. I'm on the ground. I know I don't really die there because I have resto ulti up. You saw me pop my shadow image. I'm at really low resources, but I have a tripod and I have a shadow image. So they're going to beat on me. I'm going to pretend to try and get away. Shadow image back. I'm going to hit cloak, and now my tripod's up. So now we've got away. We've gotten the distance. We're resetting the fight by getting our Magicka back, which will come back really quickly. We have like 2100 with a potion up. We're just going to come over here to this rock, recover a little bit, and then get back to our 2-on-4. So we're here, we're resting, we're going to wait up. Yeah. Not a whole lot to say here, but you see the use of the rest ulti, how powerful it is. It really is. It really is strong. I think they need to adjust it. I don't think an ultimate that cheap should be as strong as it is, but here we are. We get a 2-on-1 here. So just really quick kill. We have a guy gap closing from a million miles away. Another 2-on-1 since we killed the other guy so fast. Just another quick kill. 13k impale. That's why we're running impale and we're not running mage light. That burst execute with somebody at low health, especially like Magicka Templars that can heal and go back to full health, comes in really, really handy when you fear them and you can just take them out really quickly. That's why impale's on our bar. It's really strong. Now we're going back after the Imperial Physique build and the Sork. So we see 3 here. Yellows took this district, so now we know they're not going to come back right away. We're going to hit him with Impale. We're going to dot up. We tried to block, but we didn't block the whole thing. Now we're getting hit with Destro ulti. So we're going to pop our rest ulti again just to stay up through the ultimate. My buddy drops a meteor here. Now we're 2-on-1ing this guy. We take out the guy that's trying to kill us. With a meteor, with really focusing one guy. So now we see the Sork here hitting us with resto attacks, so we think his Magicka might be a little low. Now we're going to go to town focusing him. He dodge rolled again. He dodge rolled. We feared. We broke his stamina, and now we're just going to single target him down. And he's at low health, 11k execute, and now we have a 2-on-1 against Imperial Physique. He kites us for a little bit. We're 2 Magicka Nightblades. We don't have a ranged interrupt. We don't have a gap closer. It's really hard sometimes. You kids play a patient game against a Stam Sork. With Dark Deal, with no range interrupt, with no gap closer to interrupt, they're going to have really good sustain. And unless you catch them with a full combo, they're going to stay alive for a while. And that's what this guy did. He kited us around these little pillars. He dark dealed behind it. There wasn't much we could do. We did kill him. We got his stones in the end. But yeah, it goes on for another minute of him kiting us. So that's the end of this clip, or these clips to kind of show the offensive capabilities. I wanted to show the damage. I wanted to show the versatility of being able to go into no CP with the exact same gear. You saw my Magicka and Stamina Sustain was really good in an outnumbered fight in there. My damage was really good. And then, just once again highlighting like how strong running Resto ulti is on our back bar and how it can even protect your, like, this build has so much versatility in a small group. Like, people run Destro ultis. People run like this high damage stuff. And if you see your buddy get hit with a Destro ulti, you know that your Resto is going to go to them, and you know that um, it's going to keep them alive so that they survive that burst, and now you have a chance to fight in an outnumbered 2vx situation or 2-on-2 or whatever. Like, it just protects you against other people's burst, which is why it's so powerful. As far as the skills go, we're running cripple on our back bar so that we get our major expedition, and when people gap close on us, we want to be on our back bar anyways when we get gap closed, because that's where our wards are. So we're going to ward up, and then we're going to hit them with cripple. And what cripple does is it immobilizes them, it snares them in place, and it gives you major expedition. So now they're not on top of you just beating on you. They're now snared, and they either have to shuffle out of it, they have to dodge roll out of it, or they have to purify it, and they're taking dot damage, and you have major expedition, and you can get away a little bit from their melee, and they can't easily gap close to you. Nightblades with ambush can, Magicka Nightblades with Lotus Fan can, but everybody else either has to purify, shuffle, or dodge roll out of it. And so it's a good skill to have on your back bar. Plus it gives you 8% more Magicka, since it's the siphoning ability, for having it slotted on a bar. So that's why it's there. That's how we use it on the back bar. We have entropy on our back bar for empower, so we're going to use a lot of entropy. Like when we have our merciless up from our light attack, swallow, soul combos, we're going to entropy merciless, entropy fear merciless, entropy meteor fear right before the meteor goes off. Meteor is going to be really good against stand builds that are really gap closing on you. If they're in your face, yeah, you can't take damage and you can't sit in their face like that, but if they're going to, you have abilities that can take them out. And with this build, you hit really hard with your meteor. As I said, anywhere from 9,000 to 18.5K. So you wait till you get your merciless up. You can light attack with your resto staff till you have your merciless. Some people pick up on that, so I always just do light attack, swallow, soul weaving until I get it. And then once you have your merciless, it's entropy, meteor, fear, merciless, impale. And if they eat all of that, if shuffle RNG doesn't protect them, just about every class in this game that is spec'd for damage is going to die. You're going to hit them with a roughly, like I said, 9 to 18K meteor. Your merciless my merciless is hit for anywhere from 9 to 16 or 17,000. So that's a lot of damage. And then your impale, as you saw in these clips, are hitting anywhere from 8 to 13,000 or 8 to 12,500. So it's a lot of burst. Even though our magic is not high, with the Shadow Mundus, with 50% crit, we are hitting very hard with this setup. We have very good survivability if we use our Shadow Image wisely, and we have really good sustain. So with all that being said, that's the end of this offensive Magicka Nightblade mini tutorial. If you want more details on the combinations and stuff, I can go into that. But I just wanted to show clips and talk through different fights. I personally think that that's just useful in general. Knowing, hey, against this type of person, you need to do this. Against this type of person, you need to do this. And the more you fight, the more you pick up on that. I feel like I have a pretty in-depth knowledge of playing all the classes, so I know how to deal with kind of all of them and different build styles with a build that I'm running, because I know what their strengths are and what their weaknesses are. So hopefully this helped you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully, gets you excited about playing a class that isn't so commonly used right now outside of bombing. So with all that being said, have a nice day.